Now, fate of BCCI President Sourav Ganguly and Secretary Jayshah hangs in the balance as all eyes are on the Supreme Court order, which will give its interim order on whether they can continue as office bearers. The apex court will continue hearing BCCI's petition today, which seeks to increase Mr. Ganguly's and Mr. Jayshah's tenure to continue. The plea also involves age cap norms, as BCCI has pushed for doing away with restrictions of 70 years of age. Now, during its earlier hearing, the court observed that young people should represent the country in the ICC. To this, the BCCI had replied saying that a young man will have to deal with the veterans representing cricket bodies across the world who have 30 to 40 years of experience in dealing with cricket. Harish joining us for more on this. Harish, good morning. Tell us what the petition is all about, what's expected in court today.
Yes, good morning. Supreme Court is expected to pronounce its interim orders on the BCCI's application for allowing changes in its constitution, including the extension of tenures of President Sourav Ganguly and Secretary Jayshah by cooling off period rule. So yesterday, the Supreme Court bench and the amicus curiae tentatively reached a consensus to amend the BCCI's constitution to allow 2 consecutive terms for its president, secretary, and other office bearers, irrespective of their earlier innings in state associations. Supreme Court approved BCCI constitution provides that an office bearer who has held any post for 2 consecutive terms, either in a state association or in the BCCI, or a combination of both, shall not be eligible to contest any further election without completing a cooling off period of 3 years. So, in this case, in fact, both Sourav Ganguly, who had earlier worked in the capacity of an official of the West Bengal Cricket Association, and Jayshah, who was a Gujarat Association for 6 years, now have completed almost one term in BCCI. So the BCCI is saying that the cooling off period should be scrapped so that they can get an extended tenure, because their experience cannot be wasted and at the altar of rules, because their administrative capacities is very valuable for the BCCI's functioning. But bench is of the prima facie view that after one term of 3 years in state associations, one term in BCCI, there should be no cooling off period but required. But 2 terms in a state association or BCCI, cooling off period should kick in. So these were the prima facie observations made yesterday. We'll have to wait and watch whether the Supreme Court will accede to the BCCI's demand to scrap the cooling off period, and whether Jayshah and Sourav Ganguly, who have already completed 6 years, will get an extension or not. Supreme Court bench yesterday called as very too stringent the stipulation regarding the cooling off period for BCCI administrators, indicating its willingness to modify process that may enable BCCI President Ganguly and Secretary Jayshah to have longer tenures. So taking up the application moved by BCCI, Supreme Court said, we accept your argument that it may be too stringent to impose a cooling off period after one term in BCCI and one term in state association. But at the same time, Supreme Court bench led by Justice Chandrachud said that it was not in favor of completely scrapping off cooling off period, because it will ensure that the person who is holding the post the vested interest does not grow, and he doesn't use undue influences and indulge in corrupt practices. But Solicitor General Tushar Mehta for BCCI said cooling off period will deprive worthy administrators of a continued run. Country cannot lose the experience of individuals. Current cap is disentitling. Several deserving possible administrators' tenure gets truncated or cut short abruptly, and that affects continuity. So there were heated arguments yesterday. We'll have to wait and watch what kind of an interim order the Supreme Court will pass today at 2 p.m. Back to you.
All right, Harish, keep an eye on those developments. Thanks very much for joining us for the moment with all those details. Some breaking news coming.